Welcome to the parent meeting. You should have received a casting email, and we are here to walk you through what being a Copa member looks like. We are looking at a universal Copa, so we're trying to look at these performing companies like all Copa performing companies with different areas of emphasis. So you may, and this year we auditioned it differently, where you were able, or your student was able to check their area of focus. So either dance or MDT or musical theater, which focuses on acting, or acting alone. So and vocal. We have all of those different tracks, and hopefully your email is clear about which company you're going to participate in. We're super thrilled to have you this year. We want to make sure that we point you to the Copa flyer for your company, so you have all the dates and information that you need immediately. So Susie, will you show the utahcopa.com page? If you go to utahcopa.com, it's a new website, so we thank you for your patience with our pixie dust as we are redoing it. But you would come here, it has programs, and you want to click on programs, and then you would click on companies. And then as you go to the company page, you would click on your location. And you got to scroll down a little bit, and you'll see American Fork here, and then or Tuacahn or Draper, so click on your location, and then you'll see these different tracks listed. So once you click that track based on the company that you were called in, you were cast in, you'll see here, well, scrolling is like kind of tricky upside down. I think it's because I'm not clicked on it. Yeah, you'll see this flyer, and sorry, there's a lot of glare on there. We're just directing you to this so you can read through. Let's just say that your child was cast in Spire. You'll see Spire's company time here. You won't necessarily, will they get their email for their dance level in the email, or does that come later?
It usually comes a week or two later.
So you won't know the dance level that they're in just yet, but you will soon. And these are the different dance levels and their times. And then it also has costs and fees and add-ons if you're looking for other classes. And most importantly, we want to direct you here to these important dates. I'm gonna zoom right in. See that high tech that we have here at Copa? But these dates are really important. They're like, the concert dates and the tour dates and when you need to be at Copa for your company. So we would recommend highly that you take those dates and you put them in your calendars now so that you know when we're performing. There's also tour dates are at the bottom, and so if your child was cast in a company that tours, there will be tour dates included there, and then there's a little bit about the dress code. So that's a really helpful flyer we'd like to direct you to. So I'm going to turn the time over to Susie.
And I'll say, if you participate in multiple tracks, like let's say we have a lot of, what's really common here at Copa is there's musical theater as well as dance company. A lot of our students will do that together. You will get separate emails, casting emails for both companies, and then you'll want to look at, you'll want to click on each kind of company, like a musical theater company, because that will give you, like what Mindy was showing you, all those dates and information and money and all that, as well as you want to do that on the dance side as well, or the acting side. So just know that if you're participating in multiple things, you want to look at multiple pages so you're getting all the information. Okay, I'm going to talk about your company contract. So our company contracts are a year long, and they start, correct me if I'm wrong, right? You guys, June? July to June. They go to July to June. And your tuition and your fees are separate, and they will happen each month. So that 12-month period, you'll get a tuition and a fee charge. And they are set. We've done our homework and our work before so that we won't have to do any extra charges upon that. So you, as you're planning your family affairs through the year, you know not only the dates of the things that we're doing or the best that we know of, but you'll also know the amounts that you will be responsible for. So in your company contract, I'm just gonna kind of go through this really briefly, but there will be a link in your casting email to your company contract. Yeah.
A link to accept your thing, and then we'll send you the contract.
Great.
It comes separately.
Thanks for the
So
clarification.
watch for that to come after you accepted your spot.
That's
Perfect.
why there's 3 of us here.
It takes a village. So when you get that link to, once you've accepted and have that link to the contract, I know we all want to avoid looking at contracts, but take take some time and just look through it, especially if you have an older student, because not that we won't invite the parent to be a part of our conversations throughout the year, but if you have an older student, we do tend to communicate with them on their own often. So some things you're going to see in there is about attendance. Of course, you'll have your child's schedule. We do expect them to be in class. Absences obviously will happen for various reasons. We try to honor those the best that we can, but there obviously are times when we need your child in a mandatory rehearsal. Obviously, it's around right before concerts happen. So if you will look ahead and do your best to make sure that those mandatory rehearsals are
And those
honored.
are often called intensives. So on your schedules, you might see them listed as an intensive.
And they might have, on the dance side, you might see that it says like mandatory, right? So that we're there, just that we can be prepared right before we go on stage. Absences, we do allow absences, but you'll want to make sure that you're in contact with your child's director so that they are aware of those absences. And then if you exceed what the plan is moving forward, if your child has gone too much.
Can I also add there that, you know, an absence in class is one thing, and as it gets closer to concert, it's even more important. But an absence at a concert is next level. And that's something that has to be communicated, ideally avoided entirely. But sometimes we know that either emergencies happen and then you can't give us notice, but sometimes there's a conflict with a school show or something else. Please be looking ahead at those dates that we just pointed out so you can see that, oh my gosh, my child's school production is the same time, and we can then accommodate and figure out a plan rather than trying to figure it out at the day of the concert with or without them. So think ahead about concerts especially.
Yeah, we do our best to accommodate the amazing things your kids are doing outside of our Copa walls. But we do also expect, if you're here and you're signing a contract, that Copa is now a priority for you as well. So, and we give you the dates so that you can plan ahead so we don't have those types of problems.
And I'm just going to add to that too. If you're able to work with whatever your outside commitments are now, and you've got the important dates for Copa now, maybe it's not a good fit, right? Like that would be something to figure out today before you sign a contract for the year. So if you're like, oh, my child's involved in this and this, and they have performances at the same time that the concerts are, it may not be a year that we're lucky enough to have you. Or maybe you decide to say no to the other thing because the two can't be had together. It's not like peanut butter and jelly. It doesn't taste as good. It's not working. So it might be good to look at that now.
Yeah, and so that actually takes us to dropping out of contracts. That's not something we take lightly or that we do easily. Of course, there are some extenuating circumstances occasionally, and we will just take them case by case. But just be prepared from July to June.
And all the way through June, just to clarify.
All the way, yes,
June
thank
30th.
you. Okay, Katie, you're gonna talk about the app in a minute, and I'm gonna talk about the dress code. I guess I could just talk about that right now. Every class has a dress code. If you are a musical theater, a music theater, or I think acting, we do ask that our kids wear their black Copa t-shirt. It just helps us to keep uniformity. It's kind of a rite of passage. Our company kids are the ones that are walking around the halls with their black shirts on. For dance companies, often it depends on year to year. Sometimes we will get them a specific tank top. Sometimes we just say we just want all blacks, tight-fitting clothing. But in general, if your child is in a ballet class, they are asked to wear black leotard. They can wear black tights or pink tights. If they're uncomfortable, they are welcome to wear like a black booty short. But we do ask that they wear tights and leotards for ballet, of course, ballet shoes. For our gentlemen, they can wear a tight white shirt and black compression leggings. All of these things are at the front desks of each location, and you can purchase those easily. For jazz, we don't want our children or our dancers to take the time to change clothes, so we just ask that you just layer on top if you want to. But again, leotards, tank tops, shorts, leggings, things that are tight so we can see their body and help them improve their form. If you're a music theater kid and you have some movement classes, we just ask that you wear appropriate, so we're not showing our bellies and we're appropriately covered, but just movement or clothes that are comfortable for them.
No jeans, no skirts.
That they can easily like get down on the ground and get right back up. They're not constantly fixing themselves or feeling uncomfortable. For hip hop, obviously big baggy clothes, tennis shoes, those types of things. Tap shoes for tap classes. Jazz shoes you can, we're not really particular. You can do socks or bare feet or foot undies. Those types of things are all fine for us, whatever the dancer feels most comfortable in. And you can buy everything at our front desks except for shoes. And if we do have local relationships. Thank you. Relationships with local dance stores that will give you, I think it's a 10 to 15% discount on your shoes. You just let them know that you're from Copa. Okay.
Yeah, talk to your
How do they get
director
that info?
by each location.
I'll just say talk to your director. We can give you more
where that is.
information. I'm forgetting what it is.
Glassworks, I think, just came in
Dance
here.
Works.
Danceworks
Danceworks,
is
sorry.
is up here up north, but in the south I can't remember what that.
So reach
that
out
one's
to your director, and they will know where to send you for shoes and a discount.
Okay, obviously, let me just talk about hair really quick. Ladies, if you're in a ballet class, we do ask that your hair is back and in a bun. It doesn't have to be like slick and, performance ready, but we don't want messy buns. We don't want hair falling out. Jazz and everything else beyond ballet is just hair pulled back so it's out of your face, okay? Okay. In your company contract, there are places where you can see what you can expect from us. And we want you to know what rules and standards we have for ourselves and that you can expect from us as Copa employees and teachers and staff members.
Well, and I want to say too, occasionally we have something that happens with a teacher and they come late. Maybe their child got sick and it put them behind. We actually would love to hear about it. We want to know. That teacher is well aware, but we want to know. So feel free to email your director of that location or the office and let them know so that we can be on top. We expect that not just of us here sitting at the table, we expect it of our entire team. Now we know that emergencies happen, but anyway, feel free to hold us to that commitment.
Thank you. There's also a list of things that we expect from our company members, which is kind of a higher standard. It's pretty straightforward. And then also responsibilities from a parent's standpoint. So take a look at those things so you are well aware and feeling confident as to what your responsibilities are.
That's the part of the contract I would be sure to read through with your students specifically, rather than just signing it and turning it in. Even younger students, so that they understand what they're committing to as a company member.
I agree.
Okay. All right, so in the company contract, we're just going to ask information about your child. As much information as you can give us would be helpful. That includes any medical issues or allergies that they have, just so we can be aware and be helpful to them if ever there is an event that's necessary. Of course, there's consent for us to take pictures and use their pictures and things like that. Medical release forms. So just to make sure you take a look, really, really detailed. There's more information on your company contract about tour and how tour is charged. So you have tuition, you have fees that are separate, but if your child is in a touring company, that is separate charge. That would be a third charge, but it's not the full 12 months because we have to make sure that those charges are being paid by the time we have to pay them for.
Yeah, you can show this. In your company contract, you'll see it's broken down. So by each tour, it'll say, and it usually, we have to purchase plane tickets and hotel rooms right off, the top of the
We've
year.
already.
I was like, we've already
Yes,
started
and
those.
so
Yeah.
those first payments are always heavier to help cover the cost of the airfare or the busing or the hotels. So you'll see exactly how it breaks down in the contract.
That's pretty much it. The last thing in here is just about costumes. It depends on the program that you are a part of, whether you rent a costume or purchase a costume. So just take a look at that page, and so you know the expectations of that as well.
Yeah, I would also suggest that once you've signed it and do the option to download it so that you have access to it. Often during the year we'll have people say, can I see my contract? And it's way easier for you to download it and save it to your device than for us to dig those out. So I would recommend doing that so you have access to it anytime all year in case you have any questions about anything.
Okay, Katie, calendars.
Okay, I'm going to take over. Mindy showed you the front desk form on the website that has important dates. Those are just the most important dates. There's a lot more dates that you'll want to be aware of. So starting July 1st of every year, we have a calendar upload through Google that you will receive a link to that you can download to your own calendar. It'll have a lot more information, including those mandatory dates that are also on that. And you can just sync it right to your Google Calendar or manually enter them if you prefer to do that. But they are there and available starting July 1st. They are also, you can find them on the website. Because it's a new website, they're not there yet. But we will find a place to put them where you can just click on that and and find your calendar and download it. Just be aware that in most cases, well, in every case, you're going to want to download at least 2 calendars. So every location will have a general calendar. So that'll be like an American Fork general calendar, a Draper general calendar, and a Tuacahn general calendar. Those will include holidays, studio closures, things that apply to everyone, concert dates. And then you're going to want to find your specific company or companies if the case applies to you. And you're going to want to download, let's say, American Fork Smash and American Fork Junior Dance Co. And make sure that you have the calendars for each of your specific companies, and that will have more specific dates and details about that group. So just make sure you get all of those and that you're aware of those. And once we know where they're going to be on the website, we'll try to make it obvious, but those are available July 1st. If you've already downloaded a calendar, it will just continue. So when we resync it, if you were in Smash last year and you're in Smash again next year, it'll just keep going. So be aware of that, and you can unsubscribe to any calendars that you
Don't need.
no longer
Yeah.
need because you moved to a different group. I also want to share about our app. We have a Utah Copa app. We've had it for quite a few years. This next year, we are going to go back to an app that we used a couple years ago as we continue to develop and work on the Studio Advantage app, which we are making some huge big changes to. And while we're making those big changes this year, we're going to revert back to version 2, I think it was. So we'll go back to the Utah Copa app that some of you are familiar with. We will send a link out and information about exactly what to download and how to get into that, and it will have all of your material for the year. Our app is a great resource for all of our students, no matter what track you choose. There's songs and medleys and curriculum and videos, and we hope that you will dive in and use that as a great resource to help your education here at Copa.
How are we sharing the app with them? Do they just download
So
it
that
themselves?
version of the app, we have to invite them.
Okay.
So it won't be something
So
that
year to year,
you'll download it yourself.
Yeah, your director will just clarify how you receive access to the app, but we will make sure that you are clear about how you to receive access every year for the app.
Yep. We'll send probably a separate email right before company camp would be my guess for each group, somewhere around that time so that you have it for camp. As far as registration goes, so you got your casting email, and in that you will have a checklist of things to do. The first thing you need to do is accept your spot or decline, but we hope you accept. Then you'll receive your contract and sign your contract, and then we will register you for your classes. You don't have to worry about any of that. We will get you enrolled and registered. If you're brand new to Copa, welcome, and we need you to create an account. So you're going to go to utahcopa.com and log in, and it will give you an option. Yeah, they enroll today. Actually, they can click log in too.
Log in.
Yeah, so log in or enroll today and set up an account for your student and your family. If you don't do that, then we can't register you. So that should be step 3, and this will be in the checklist to create that account. And then we'll get you registered for your class. And we recommend you do this quickly because in some cases, at least with musical theater and MDT, there's options, and we do them first come, first serve. So you'll want to get the options that you want before those classes fill up. So you don't need to worry about that. And then you have access to your schedule. They will all be done by July 1st for sure. Hopefully sooner is our goal, usually by early to mid-June. And you can log into your utahcopa.com account and see your schedule. So look for that, and we can help answer questions about that. I also want to just chat really quickly about summer camps. All of our companies have summer camps that are required. It's different for every track. So you'll want to read your email carefully. That is one of those things you'll have an option to choose. For dance companies, they have 2 required dance camps through the summer, plus their company camp. So that's 3 total, and that's included in your tuition and fees. It's not an extra cost. That applies to every track. For musical theater and MDT, you will choose between one of 2 musical theater boot camp or dance camps for Tuacahn, and you'll choose one of those 2. You are welcome to do both if you'd like, and we can just charge you for the extra one.
We do give like a discount.
Yeah, you get a discounted rate if you want to take a second one. Many kids do. It's a lot, most often than not, new material and new teachers and new classes. Some repeat, but a lot of new stuff. So totally fine to do both of those.
I think it's a great way to keep up their skills too.
It's a great way to keep up your skills. And last year we completely revamped the program, and it's less dance and more musical theater focused with a lot of really interesting classes. So you'll choose one of those in either June or July. And then we also have the mandatory company camp for those musical theater and MDT kids. For the acting track, you will only have your company camp. However, we do offer a lot of acting camps over the summer that you're welcome to join into that are really fun and great camps to be involved in. The vocal camps, you'll just go with your track, with your company, but we do also offer a lot of great camps over the summer outside of these camps. So feel free to join into any of those camps. You can see our schedule online by clicking on summer. We also have a fun camp that we offer in American Fork and Draper that is just for company members, but you can be from any company and any track, where we're going to create a music video in a week. So feel free to register for that if you're interested. Again, that's open to any track, any company member.
You can be a singer, you can be a dancer.
Singers, dancers, actors.
And Tuacahn
come have
includes
fun.
that
Tuacahn, your music
in
video
your company.
is part of your company experience and will be done at company camp. So that is what I have to share.
Awesome. And I'll say that some of those specific summer camps that are like MDT camps, dance camps, if you want more in the opposite and from the opposite track, if there's space in the class, we would love for you to do more over the summer. So it's a great time to broaden your horizons, to keep up your skills, to get different kinds of classes, to get to take class from different teachers. So anyway, if that's something that interests you, we welcome that.
Yeah. Also, some of the company camp, the main company camp that's July 28th through August 1st, that is just for company members. But a lot of these required camps for company members are also open to the public. So if you have a friend that you know enjoys this kind of thing, bring them along, and it can be something fun that you guys do together. So again, that's space available, but the musical theater boot camp is open to the public, and I think your dance intensives are also open
as long as there's space. And I'll say the company camp isn't always those exact dates, but it usually is along those lines. For this year, it will be those dates, but it's usually late July into early August. So just keep that in mind. That's okay. So I want to keep that clear. Okay.
I'm taking over for tour and fundraising.
Let me do duffel bags really quick, and because we talked a little about, I was going to talk about gear. We talked a little bit about the dance class attire and shoes and such. But at each location, there is also, yes, you can buy your dance wear there for the most part. You can also buy just swag, right? You can buy any kind of Copa t-shirt, sweatshirts, shorts. We have fanny packs and
hats
and backpacks that are really awesome. Yeah, hats are awesome. So anyway, those things are all available, and sometimes we'll do sales and whatnot for company members. So keep your eye out on those. We'd love for you to come out with all of the Copa gear for company members, and depending on where they tour and what they're required to do over the year, we do, like I was saying earlier, we do require that they have a certain color of Copa shirt. But I think your director will send out an email with a link letting you know what is required and how to get the shirts. And a lot of times we do the same colors from year to year to year, for over a couple of years, so that you can just reuse them or hand them down to another child, or even give them to a friend who might be ready for that next year's shirts. And we try to keep those the same. So dance levels. Katie mentioned that you'll get, for music dance theater kids, you'll get a dance level assigned to you, and that will come a little week or two after your acceptance into company. For dance company kids, you're already assigned a level. So when you're assigned a company, that also assigns your technique level, and you can look on the website when Mindy showed you originally the list of classes and what that level is. We do our levels by A, B, C, D, so that's kind of what you can look for. Again, open kids can be let into those classes. So if you have friends that don't want to be part of company but want to take classes, they are welcome to, as long as there is, two things, as long as there's room in the class and they have to test in. So we want to make sure that the level stays true to what we've created. And so we just ask they take a trial class. So just keep that in mind for those friends or family members that aren't company members that want to take classes. There's also extra classes, and there's not always a ton of options for extra classes for our company members, but we do offer extra optional classes. So take a look at, again, on the website of things that you might be interested in, you want to participate in, that are extra. If you take extra classes, that is an extra charge, but we do highly discount them for our company members because we want you to come and join us and be a part of it. All right, Mindy, you want to take over tour?
Yeah, we've already kind of hit tour in a couple ways, like contractually, we talked about tour, we showed you the dates of tour. Tours
And that will shift sometimes year to year,
Yeah.
the dates, yeah.
But they'll be on your flyer. They'll be accurate in the flyer that we showed you. So just making sure that you put those tour dates in your calendar. And we talked about how the payments are heavier in the beginning, and you can see that tour payment schedule from the beginning. Our tours, we really stand by. We take a number of different tours for different companies, and every year is a little bit different, but every tour that we have gone on has been really, really beneficial for the students. We find them purposeful and educational and fun. And so we're looking forward to tours for this year and for all the years to come. We do fundraisers. So every location will provide an opportunity for your student to sell, for example, Roxbury cards or whatever it might be. Those are a hot ticket, or sometimes we've done Little Caesars cards, and we have somebody that leads it, and you can purchase the cards and then have your child, or post it on Facebook or whatever, go and sell and help raise money for tour. And we've had some students before, some of our own, that have raised their entire tour costs through fundraisers. So if financial pressure comes with the cost of tour, just know that fundraisers are an excellent option to get your student involved as well in providing for their experience. And we've found that neighbors and friends and family have been really supportive of those things. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram and share and comment, especially as you're out filming your child succeeding in the community or in their school program, or maybe they're doing a community show. Like, we want to highlight them succeeding as well. So don't forget to tag us and then join us and follow this journey. We often are posting what's happening in the classroom or what's happening in events, and it's a fun thing to be a part of. So we welcome you to the social media family.
And we have several locations, we have several Instagrams. So make sure you follow specifically your location, but follow all of the locations, because many times we will cross market the amazing things that are happening.
And there is a dance only Instagram as well. So if you're in dance companies or an MDT student who's focusing in dance, that would be a great account to follow as well. And lastly on our agenda, plus just a little closing, is that we have a great partnership with an independent private school called Alta. And they have certified that what's happening underneath the roofs of the Copa buildings qualifies for high school credit. So by 9th grade, classes are required to graduate through the public school system in all different types of areas. So fine arts, elective, etc. And even PE. Mm-hmm. Copa can satisfy all or some of those credits that I just mentioned. So we don't need to get into too many details. If you're interested, you can call Alta. But for the Alpine School District, for example, there are 1.5 credit hours required in PE, and Copa classes can be supplemented for one of those 1.5 credits. So that's 3 classes, 2 of the 3, you can get credit for being here in dance, or it has to be a movement-based, obviously, class to supplement for a PE class. And then all of your fine art classes, which I think is 1.5 for the school district here, can come from Copa: music, dance, acting, whatever classes you're taking, and all of your elective credits. So that has really, we have all benefited from this with our children. We don't make money off of this partnership with Alta, but it has been a tremendous help for us, because our kids are so busy after school, especially when you have a child that might be dually enrolled in a company, or maybe they're heavily involved in other areas of their talent development in their life. And so freeing up, it means they can free up a period or 2 or 3.
And homework.
To do homework. So, or maybe to get, honestly, some extra sleep. Mm-hmm. Like sometimes we do a later B-day start so that they're catching up on sleep that's often not easy to find as a high school student. And so we end up, as the teachers or Copa faculty, will end up giving that grade, and it transfers literally to the high school that your child is graduating from. So it will be a transfer credit from Alta, and it is received at all universities the same way that any high school credit is. So we feel like that's been a really great blessing in our families to kind of alleviate some extra time, provide more time for our family and alleviate some pressure. So if you're interested in that, you can contact Alta and let them know you're a Copa student. And since it is an online type of program, it applies for all of our locations in the state. So
can I add one thing to that? I would recommend, if you are going to do that path, do them early, because they typically get A's in the class. They have to write an essay, and if it's not good enough, they'll give them a chance to do it over and over. So it's a great way to get your GPA up before you qualify. You start applying to colleges. If you wait and do it like the end of your senior year, it doesn't really, I mean, it benefits you for the credits, but do them early so that
GPA,
as you apply, your GPA is a little, it boosts your GPA quite a bit, and you have those credits. It looks like you're ahead, which you are in credits. So I would recommend doing those early. And then if I can rewind just a tiny bit, for fundraisers, if you are a parent who's willing to help run our fundraiser programs, every location, I know every year is seeking people that can help with that and help manage that. And then did we talk about scholarships?
I was just about to say, like, speaking of parents that are willing to help, occasionally, we always, every year, we have students and families that need financial help to be a part of Copa, and we do our very best to provide as much, give as much scholarship as we can so that they can come here and participate. If there's by chance that you are willing to sponsor a child or give to a sponsor fund where we can then take those funds and just directly, allocate them to students who are in need, we are always lovingly welcoming those types of things. So just know that if that's something that is your family is willing and able and interested in doing, we would love that. But we talked a little bit about, that's kind of all we've said about scholarships. They are available.
Just know that in your casting email, there's a link, and you need to act fast on those scholarships. If you are a family that's in need of some financial help to participate this year, you're going to want to fill those out really quick. We usually do the interviews for those within the first couple weeks and have it settled before you have to sign your contract and start paying, so that you know what you're committing to. But they go fast. So just don't come to us in August or September and say, oh, I forgot to, or how do I do that? Know it's in your casting email that you already received by the time you're watching this video. And if that is something that you need, they are need-based, and we will ask questions about why you need it. But don't miss that opportunity if that is something that you need.
Yeah, I was just going to say, money just unfortunately doesn't grow on trees, and we don't receive funding for any form of scholarship. So it's just something that Copa gives. And there's a point to where we get every year where we can't give more and stay in business, keep our doors open. So that's why extra help would be great, and that's why applying early is really important. So we failed in our beginning, the welcome, to introduce who we are. So just in case, and this will be a good test to see if you know who we are if you watched it. But I'm Mindy Robbins, and I'm one of the owners, and I am the artistic director for the music, dance, theater, musical theater arm of what we do here at Copa.
I'm Susie Balser. I'm also one of the owners, and I artistic direct over the dance portion, but then I also teach and do choreography for American Fork Musical Theater.
I'm Katie Higbee. I am not an owner. I just help things
She's just
run
the real boss.
smoothly.
She's the glue.
I try to support all the programs and all the locations and keep the wheels going and make sure everything happens like it's supposed to.
And you choreograph.
And I do teach.
Yes.
I teach 2 companies here in American Fork.
Yeah, we have a really awesome team in every location that we're super proud of, and we love, just in closing, we love what we do. We wouldn't do it if we didn't love it, because it is a lot of blood, sweat, tears, and passion and joy, and a lot of reward. We just finished concert seasons, and watching the kids grow on stage in their confidence and their ability is thrilling and humbling, and it's an honor. So we're really flattered and honored that you would bring your child to Copa and audition and want to be a part of it. We do consider it a family. We love these students. We love our directors. You come under the roof at Copa, and you're just, hopefully, it makes me teary-eyed every time, but hopefully you feel like this is like a second home. This is like a home for my child, and we've seen it for so many years. I don't even know, are we 18, 19, something years into doing this, and it is so fun. It's fun to watch these kids grow in this building, but fun to watch them after they leave. Like, we're watching Copa students have children. You guys, we have a Copa student who has a child in the program. So we're Copa grandmas, and we're proud to be, and we just love watching this play out. We are firm believers that when you spend time developing your gifts, that you become more confident people. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's in musical theater or in dance or in acting. It could be in soccer or in painting or in graphic design or whatever it is that your child is called to. So we just, because you're parents of these kids, we know because we are these kids, that it's in the blood. Like, to perform and to be called to the stage and to tell a story, whether you're dancing it or singing it or acting it, is something that it's almost like we were born and called to do. So we welcome your children into the Copa family, either returning or for the first time, and hope, and we will do everything we can to have a spectacular year of continued development.
Yeah. Thanks, you guys. We'll see you.